Okay, so in this part I'm going to start to add a level sequence that we can play some form of video at the start of the sequence behind our menu at the start of the game, and we're also going to start to add in some sounds. Now I'm going for a sort of a horror theme, so I'm going to bring in the sounds first. I've downloaded a couple already. I've got a sort of a loop and then a tone, a background, an atmosphere. But let me just bring those in. I'll drag and drop them. If we just grab them from here. Okay, so I've got these two. I've called it Horror Darkness Loop and Ominous Tone. Now, we'll save those. Horror Darkness Loop. We'll set that to looping. And Ominous Tone. I'll just double click on that. Set that to looping as well. Okay, so you can hear that. That's the loop, that's the background audio. And then the darkness loop is a tone that will play over the menu. Now what I plan to do is to script some of the interface or the beginning bits around the beats that you hear within this theme. Okay, but what I will do though, just whilst I'm recording, let's just turn the default volume down to like 0.25, just so it's not so loud on the video, and we can put that back up later. Volume 0.25. Okay, so we've turned the volume down just for working practices. Alright, so I suppose the next thing to do is to actually start building up the animation, our game menu animation, and looking at this intro sequence here, and thinking about, right, what are we going to do? So let's just open up our timeline. Okay, so we've got our overlay, coming in and coming out, but let's start adding, or thinking about adding some audio to that. Alright, here we go. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is add a new track, an audio track, and then this one, audio, we're going to choose actually, if I prefix these, A_horror loop audio, ominous tone, A_. Now we should be able to find them easily. Audio, yeah, there you go. Right, A_horror loop. Okay, so we'll put it there, and then I'm just going to extend that right the way out until it loops. So I'm going to zoom out, hold down Control, and we'll bring that right out. Okay, I don't want to loop. There we go. Right, so you see the line. If you go in there, there's a little line that marks where that ends. So I'm going to finish it and end it on one loop exactly. If we zoom in a bit. Yeah, here we go. So it's that exactly. Properties. I don't loop it. Let's see if that. Yeah, okay, so it's literally that bit there. Okay, we can put it like that. Okay, so now if we play, I'll say play. Okay, so the sound's playing, but it's playing straight away as soon as the animation starts. We don't want it to do that. We want it to be about a second in, so we'll move that, put that there. Let's see, has that pushed everything back? Yeah, okay, so that's cool. We've got our loop here. So that if we play now. Okay, so the first beat comes in there. Alright, okay, so now that animation is playing, so that's fine. We don't want buttons particularly active. They'll be hidden. We'll bring those in much later. Okay, but there's a few quite important things we need to do. Okay, if we're locking people into an animated sequence that is going to be a minute long, we've got to give them a way out. We've got to give them a skip button. So we might as well add that in straight away. We'll put that right in here so that it can always be on the screen whilst this animation is playing. So button, canvas panel, we'll put that there. I'll call it skip. We'll worry about naming it properly later or working out the appropriate phraseology for it. Skip button. Make it a variable. That's cool. Okay, I can't change the case without actually changing it properly. So I'll just do that. The IP button and then SK. Alright, there we go. Skip button. And then we'll put some text on the top. And I'll call that skip. Okay, so where do we want this to be? The button, let's anchor it in the bottom right hand corner. Let's 0, 0, so we've got the button all the way down here. Let's scale it appropriately, so button, we want it to be 120. That's cool. Height 40. Yeah, text, middle. Okay, we'll just put the font down a bit. Let's put that to 16. So it's not overlaying the button. Okay, so that's there. We'll put that at minus 140. That'll bring it in. I'll put that at minus 60. That'll be 20 pixels away from that edge at all times. So if we save that and play, there we go, we've got our skip button down here. So that'll be our exit button. We might as well start to code that straight away. So we've got our show pause. Let's have a look what else we've got. I don't know. Let's look at our event graph. Okay, so we've got our event construct, we've got everything there, that's cool. But let's start to have a look at this. So let's move this out of the way. So that was going to go first. We'll bring that right up there. And then our skip button, which we can group into, put into the button group, start buttons, and then on clicks. There we go. And let's bring this one up here. Okay, so skip button. Right, first of all, what we want to do, we want to find out whether or not we've started the game. So I'll get our game instance ref. And then we'll cast to my game instance. Make sure we connect it. We're skipping, but we're not finding, we're actually setting it, aren't we, of course. And then from that, we will set has game started. Yep, so we're starting the game. We'll make sure that we say, yep, we are starting the game, and that's good. We will stop the animation, our intro sequence, which is playing. Get intro sequence. And we will stop animation. Now, I think wherever we stop it, if we were to just play that there, skip, yeah. Okay, let's make sure that we get our menus. Okay, yeah. Reason is, let's have a look at this, just so I can show this appropriately. Okay, so I'm bringing this in and the menu in straight away. We probably don't want to bring the menu in until right at the end of our animation sequence. So here, where we've got start animation, let's have a look. Okay, yeah. We want to add in game menus. We probably want to add in, yeah. Where is it? Okay, so game menus. If we add in a track there, we can track game menus. Render opacity. Drag it to the end and put it to the start. Okay, so our game menus, we don't want to render them straight away. So if we come to the start, 0. And to here. If we go to there, menus are in, we need them out. So I'm going to put that to 0. And then come right to the end, another keyframe, put them on 1. Okay, so that fades out. Yeah, menu's all the way gone whilst we're playing the video, and then we fade them in right at the end. Okay, well, we can play around with the speed of that, adjust that later. Okay, so we play, yeah. We fade out the black background. Now we've got our cinematic playing. Cinematic, we've obviously not done that yet. No buttons available. Skip, if we skip, yeah, the buttons are there, but they're not visible. Yeah. Okay, so what it means is we need to make sure on the graph from here, when we stop the animation, we also take our game menus, get game menus, and set render opacity. Where is it? There it is. There we go. No wonder. Render opacity obviously needs to be 1. Okay, so go. Let's save that. Skip. Yeah, there are the buttons. They're working. Or if we click on start, for some reason that's not active yet. Maybe we've not set a variable. We'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, that needs to be off. Yeah, game hasn't started, so that we can actually now then start the game. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Play. Audio starts. We fade into cinematic, which we're yet to put in. Audio continues. We can skip. That will take us to the end. Now I notice that audio is finished, just suddenly cut out, and then start. Okay, so that's not great. Let's think about putting another sequence in, which we can fade out the audio. So I'm going to animation. We'll go. We want to actually fade into the ambient sound, the ambient noise in the background. So I'm going to call it cross fade audio. Have a look at that timeline. We'll add another audio track. Audio file will be the horror darkness loop, and we'll extend that out until we get that first, just that first beat. There you go, not the second one. Okay, so we've got the first one, and then what we'll do, just to be sure, is we'll play around with the volume. So we'll come to the end, keyframe, 0, come to the start, keyframe, 1. Okay, so that second sequence, we've got one sequence there. Yeah. And then when that finishes, we want to jump into this one, which will just play a loop and fade out. We also want to, if we want to play a skip, we want to play that, which will just add a beat and then fade out, rather than having an abrupt stop to the audio. Okay, so we'll save that and go. Now let's have a look. Let's actually just get our level sequence in there. I think that will probably be, rather than just making that up. Let's put this here. Put new animation level sequence. So go ls_intro, and we can drag that into the scene, which is cool. So we've got that there. I'll just snap that to the center. Right, if I open up Sequencer, we need to put a camera or something in there. Now I think we'll obviously we can build up lots of different shots and lots of different, like a whole cinematic, but we'll just do this very quickly. I'm going to put one camera in here, and we'll do look at tracking, enable look at tracking, actor to track, third person character, so it'll always be looking at the third person character. Offset, try and offset the Z, so we're looking at 60, so it's always looking at roughly the head. Okay, and then let's bring that camera, if we put it in local, bring it right back. Okay, so hopefully wherever we put that, it'll always be looking at that character. Okay, and then what we want to do, as soon as we click on, as soon as we fade out the initial logos, we want to fade into the other camera. Okay, which is fine. So let's have a look at that. Level sequence. How are we going to start the level sequence? Right, game menu, graph. Okay, so event construct. We're playing the animation. Intro start. Showing the menu. When it's finishing, we're initiating the hiding of the overlay, so we're fading out the black background. I think here we can create a level sequence. We'll do the ls level sequence intro. We'll set that as a variable, just in case we need to. Level intro sequence. So we'll break that to a variable, and then we will play it. So we'll play the sequence player. Just play, yeah. Okay, so that should be good. So as soon as we start, we should play that camera. So we should fade into the long shot now. No, okay, that's not working yet. Why is that not working? Okay, so I think what we need to do is, if we actually have a look here, the length of this animation in the sequencer is only very, very small, so we'll just lengthen out the red one, start and end, so we've got that, we've got a little camera move, so we're playing around. If we look at the, so I've added in some keyframes, if we bring that right to the end. There we go. Okay, so if we save that, I can dock that down there just so we can keep it open and play. Okay, so now we're into the sequence. we skip. Okay, we don't go back to the start. Okay, so there's a few things we need to do there. Now that doesn't look like it's actually doing much, does it, in the sequencer? It's not. It doesn't seem to be playing. Let's see what we can do with that. Game menus. Yeah, we're looking through the sequence camera, but we're not moving anywhere. Let's put the keyframes here, see what happens. Okay, so we're really slowly moving, so it's here. If we just take those 3 keyframes, speed them right up. So we're going to, so that's like 30 frames per second, 176. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we're playing this start sequence. We can skip. We're here, but we haven't exited from the camera. So let's think about that. When we skip, we want to... we've done the render opacity. We want to take the level sequence. And then we want to stop. So we want to stop everything playing in the level sequence. Okay, now obviously, you know, we've got just one little camera move in there. Yeah, we can obviously swap over lots of different things there. That's just sort of a placeholder at the moment. Okay, but when we reach the end of the sound, yeah, right, so we fade in. Okay, so the animation is still going. Alright, so we need to time this appropriately. And cut that right back. Let's see how long. So we look at game menu, look at designer. Select that animation. If we keep everything at the same, 30 frames per second. We've got that. Okay, so that goes on for about 60 seconds. So we probably want about 60 seconds in here. 30 frames. What's that? 30 times 60. Yeah, 1800. So let's set the length. Okay, so that'll do. So that should finish on our character camera. Let's offset. And then we fade the menu in. And then we'll be ready to play. Okay, so we have lots of other shots of our environment during this point. And we're just building the structure at the moment. I'm not going to worry about this until we actually get the level in. Okay, and then we fade in. Alright, okay, so it's a little bit out of sync, but that's okay. We can just play around with this start and stop bit, you know, bring that in and get that right. Start. There we go. We need to hide the skip button, and then we are into the level. Okay, if we go P, yeah, skip. Okay, so skips on there all the time. That's something we need to worry about. Okay, but we've got the level sequencer playing. That's good. Yeah. So just move those out. Alright, a couple of things. What are we going to do next? We are going to, when we hide overlay, let's fade out the audio. What we want to do is to say, I don't want to watch. Okay, it just all suddenly stops. We've got our fade out audio to play. Designer crossfade. Okay, so we've got that. Let's play that when that finishes. So we finish that animation, hide overlay, then we want the other animation. Crossfade audio, get that. And we're going to play that. So we'll play that when the other one finishes. Okay, that should be 1. Number of loops played 1. That's right, fine. So if we now do that, okay, so there we go. So we skip, we get a sound that fades out. So that starts. We fade into this opening cinematic. We skip. We're back here. Game, character camera, which we can start, orient, and then go. Okay, so that's good. Right, we're almost there. We need to think about ambient sound now. I think that's all fine. Yeah. Now, ambient sound we can do on the. I don't mind doing this on the level blueprint. Each we might want to have a different ambient loop for each sound. So let's think about that. Open level blueprint. We're on our first level, so make sure we're on level 1. Level 1. Save. Yeah. Okay, so it's red. Level 1. Blueprints. Open level blueprint. Right. Let's think about putting something in here. Okay, so event begin play. So as soon as we load this level, what we're going to do, let's spawn a sound. Spawn a sound. We need to check, well, okay, so we don't want it to start straight away whenever we start the level, because we'll just be straight into ambient sound. If we go ominous tone, if we do that, play. Okay, so I've got the tone straight away. I want to fade it in. But I don't want to fade it in if we're restarting the game or if we're just swapping into a level or going backwards and forwards. So we need to be a bit wary of that. So let's get the game instance. And then let's cast to the game instance. And then as game instance, we'll find out whether the game has started. Has game started? And then if it has, we'll do nothing. But if it hasn't started, then what we'll do is if we drag off the audio here, Yeah. So if it hasn't started, there you go, not that one. We will fade in. Put that there and that there. 1, 2. Okay, so yeah, we'll do that. We'll do an S curve. Fade in. Okay, so if the game's not started, we'll fade it in, and we'll fade it in over like 4 seconds or something. Save, go. Right, so silence, in with our loop. We should hear our tone coming in the background. If we skip, we get a beat, it fades out. Then we've got our continuous tone. If we start, go on to level 2, there is nothing. We go back into level 1, we've got a continuous tone. Level 2, nothing. Okay, so it just means that with this, we can just take that, copy, open up level 2, blueprints, open level blueprint. As I say, I don't particularly mind doing this here because we could put a different sound on each level, and that might be something sensible to do. Because each level might have a particularly different tone. Okay, so we're on level 2 now, so that's not going to work. Yeah, go to 1. Okay, and the sound, the ominous tone in the background, is working. Alright, okay, so let's just adjust the sound of those. Let's see if we make... okay, so we need to check the pause menu. That may need some work. Let's just have a look. Level 2, game, widgets, audio. Let's put that back up to 1 for now. Save. Okay, into cinematic. Oh, I'm on the wrong level, no wonder. Oh, we don't need that. I'll close that. Level 1. Level 1 should have the cinematic. Yeah, there we go. We can make that as long as we like, swapping backwards and forwards between cameras. Looking around our environment. Setting the tone. You can either get bored with it and click on skip, or we can wait till it finishes. Now we should go and fade out those beats straight into the ominous tone. Start, go. Okay, I still need to fade out the skip, get rid of the skip. Tone keeps on going, cross levels. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, so let's just think about fading out the skip. We can open up the widget, again Control I, widgets, game menu, skip button. Just trying to think. When do we fade out start animation? Okay, that fades out all the time, isn't it? So as soon as we get to here, I suppose. As soon as we're fading that in, then we need to fade out the skip button. So let's do that. Let's add another track, skip button, render opacity. Let's go to that last keyframe, add a keyframe, put that to 0. Let's go to the next keyframe, that one, skip button. So 1. Okay, so that fades out as that fades in. Right. Okay, let's see if that works. So that's gone. The beats fade out and we're just into the loop. Alright, okay, looks good. Let's see what happens with the pause menu. Pause, main menu, resume. Okay, that's okay. Nothing happening with sound there. Main menu, restart. Level. See if we pause, main menu, restart. See if we get the cinematic all good. Yeah. Skip. Start. We're left with the tone. All right. Okay. So I think that's it. I think that's the level sequence set up. So we've just got this now. It's too long at the moment. We need to work out how long it is, and then but the next thing to do is to start thinking about, right, now we've got our basic framework, we know what we're going to do. We'll now set up a level and set up a load of interface graphics and start actually actually put in some art now into the project. But this is the basic scheme, let's say the framework, which we can begin to really start to theme now, and that'll be what we'll be doing carrying on. Okay, thank you.